started.
Just wait until the Rumble stream comes up. Wow. Okay.
Just a shade. No.
You've got to do something about all those bleeps and stuff. You got to turn your system sounds down.
I just had to try to get it set, but it won't set. So that's the problem. Okay, that's close enough. I'll stop blinging. And stay with us as we get started here, folks. We're just now getting started.
Okay. That was the wrong mixer. I was turning off. Okay. All right. Welcome to Discoveries in Health Discussions from Global Voice Network and herbalhealthreview.com and Dr. Truman Berst, who is with us. And thank you for joining us, Dr. Truman. I do believe we're ready to roll.
All right. I'm going to have to ask Sister Robinson to leave her microphone muted. As it becomes unmuted, then I can hear every conversation in case somebody sneezes or something, and we get echoes from unmuted mics. So I did ask the folks over there in dial-pad meetings to mute their microphones and leave them muted until after the prayer. And welcome to Discoveries in Health. This is Bishop Dr. Truman Berst coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries, and we're here preaching the gospel of the good news, and we're praising and worshiping Jesus Christ, and that's what we do here. We also talk about natural remedies. We don't prescribe. We're not selling anything. We don't have anything to sell here, but we will tell you where you might be able to get some of these things that we're talking about, because it would be cruel if we didn't. Yes, that's what we do here. We talk about natural remedies. Natural remedies are foods. They're not drugs. Drugs are drugs, and foods are foods. Although sometimes the FDA doesn't know the difference, and which is a problem. However, we don't prescribe, we don't diagnose. We talk about food, how food comforts us, how it's been used since the beginning of time to comfort people. From illnesses, from headaches, stomach aches, liver problems, kidney problems. Herbs, natural remedies were used and are still used, and they have been used since the beginning of time. The new deal is drugs. And unfortunately, drugs got set up as a monopoly, and it is, and it shouldn't be. We should have free information freely coming all about natural remedies. And natural remedies should be working with the allopathic drugs, because there are times when you need surgery. There are times when you need medication. There are times when you need to go to the doctor, and that's the way, it is. And there are times you don't need to go to the doctor. You can eat the correct food, and you can use the natural remedies to comfort yourself, and uh, and and uh, and that's worked very, very well since the beginning of time. So uh, that's what we're doing here. We're talking about natural remedies. We're not prescribing. We're not diagnosing, and we're not selling products. But we make sure that uh, what may be helpful for you. We look at all of the uses of natural remedies and what science knows about it. So that's what we're doing here. We're not prescribing or diagnosing. Just want to make that clear. And my telephone number is 503 362 5899. That's 503 362 5899 is my telephone number. My email address is very similar to the website where all my work is published. And that email address is Truman, Truman, at herbalhealthreview.com. That's herbalhealthreview.com. And that being said, it's we always start this broadcast and end this broadcast with prayer. That's a good place to start, and it's a good place to end, is with prayer. And so let us open today looking at the whole body armor of God. Ephesians 6:11 to 18:11. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua, we pray that we may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of spirit, which is word of God, praying always with prayer and supplication in the spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua, we are in prayer, praising and worshiping and thanking the Most High God. And we are receiving his complete, continuous, limitless, and endless blessing. We receive for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua, we receive continuously, completely, endlessly, and limitlessly we receive. So be it. All praises to the Most High God. In Jesus Christ's name, Yeshua. So be it. Amen. And that being said, folks, thank you for joining us here on Discoveries in Health. Now's a good time. If you have a question or a topic or a suggestion of what you'd like to learn, what you'd like us to talk about, please open your microphone now and let us know. Raise your hand, press the star key 2 times on your microphone, and let's hear from you as to what you would like to learn today. And I don't see any hands raised. Up, hold it, maybe. Up, hold it. Jimmy, your hand is you're open. Your mic
Oh,
is open.
yeah, I just opened it. Ulcerative colitis. I think
Ulcerative.
it's kind of related to the candida overgrowth, but if you could go
Okay.
into that, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
I
Ulcerative
think it's stress-induced.
colitis. Okay, let's talk about ulcerative colitis. Let's go get the latest information. Let's find out what some credible people know about ulcerative colitis. Let's go that ulcerative colitis. Did I spell it right? Probably not. Maybe. No results. Okay, let's go for ulcerative. And no. Okay, we're just seeing what's going on out here, and let's go this way then. Okay, we can do this several ways. Ulcerative colitis. There it is. Ulcerative colitis. All right, and let's go to over here. All right, we'll find it here in just a minute. And when we're talking about ulcerative colitis, let's click on this report right here, and let's see what we see here, and up it comes. I'm still moving here. It's not doing what I wanted it to, but let's see what we get. Hold on. Okay. Best foods, temperate, colitis, treatment overview. It's really not getting where I wanted to go, but this should work here. Let's take a look at this. And I'm trying to bring up an article, a report. And it's really pointing to irritable bowel disease, IBD, when we're looking at ulcerative colitis. It's going to really be over here. Let's go to IBD. That's gonna work better. IBD. And interesting how Dr. AXE. It's funny how Dr. X is not coming up today. That's interesting. He usually has a very descriptive report on things, which is why I like to look at what he's got, uh, and I'm really here we go. It's usually never takes me this long. I am so surprised that this is not coming up, but that's all right. We're gonna do this. Let's just go this way and try this. And it keeps getting hijacked. Interesting. Okay, let's go this way then. This is still going to give us the information that we're looking for. When you've got ulcers, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel disease, this is what's going on, and the area where we need to look at. We need to look at a diet system, like the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system. We need to look at herbs that are for ulcers. And there are ulcer remedies that I have made up over the years that that we want to look at. But your diet is going to be the main place where you're going to want to start. And then you're going to want to know about herbs that work with stomach ulcers. And that is a formula number 1396. Let's take a look at formula 1396. And I've got an open microphone again over here. And I've got to find it. And yeah, it's Edward's microphone is open. Edward, please close your mic.
Dr. Truman?
Yes.
If you are on your Jitsi screen, if you hover over the screen, there will be a menu that'll pop up.
Yeah.
And when that menu pops up, there's a chat window there. It's between the hand and the screen with the arrow on it.
Okay.
Okay, if you click on that, there's a link to a Dr. Axe article on the ulcerative colitis diet.
You found it for me. That's good. Okay. So
and my microphone has been off. I'm just turning it on to tell you it's been off.
Okay. So I'm looking over here at participants, and I'm looking between the hand. Oh, there's the chat window right there, and there's the link that I was looking for. Thank you very much. And so let's take a look at and over here we've got open mics over there, and I need to get over to this other place and turn off this person's mic, and Tony's mic is open, but it's not making any noise. But Unavailable's mic is open, and it wasn't, and now it is. Okay, let's see if
that's my mic, Dr. Truman.
Person who calls himself unavailable, your mic keeps coming open. Please keep your mic closed over there on dial pad meetings. Please do not open your microphone. You got a lot of noise in the background that is putting it all over the network. Now, ulcerative colitis it's an inflammatory bowel disease. So you got a lot of inflammation going on here. So you really need to be focusing on how to put out the fire. And we're going to get to that in a second. But what
Doc, you're still sharing the Better Health Herbs screen.
Oh,
That's what you're still sharing.
Oh, okay. So that I've got to get over here.
If you right click, just right click on the link in the Jitsi window.
All right, I got
in the chat window. Just right click on that link, copy the link, and then you can go back to the screen that has Better Health Herbs on it and you can paste that in the location bar, and that'll get you there.
And that's what I want right there. That'll get it. So now we're looking at ulcerative colitis and the diet and the foods and the supplements that are going to be necessary. And it's well described here. And this is the report that I was looking for. And I'm so glad you could find it. But what we're talking about here is an inflammation. And we got to put out the fire. So we gotta look at this inflammatory disease, ulcerative colitis, which can be debilitating, and sometimes it can even lead to life-threatening complications. And ulcerative colitis may lead to a narrowed area of the intestines. I'll say it again. It may lead to a narrowed area of the intestines, making it harder to pass the stool. And it may also lead to swelling in the colon and intense diarrhea and joint pain and scarring of the bile ducts and of the pancreas. Ulcerative colitis most often begins gradually and becomes worse over time. The symptoms of this inflammatory disease can be mild to severe. We got an open mic there somewhere. It came open and closed. Okay. And so since this inflammation can be mild or it can be severe. And most people have periods of remission where it goes away and comes back. And there are times when the symptoms disappear, which can last for weeks or years, while there is no known cure for ulcerative colitis. There are natural treatments that can greatly reduce signs and symptoms of the disease and result in long-term remission.
Dr. Truman, can you share your screen again?
Now, new research.
Dr. Truman, can you share your screen again, please?
Sure,
I shut off your camera and it shut off your screen share as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
We're back. Thank you. All right, the screen is back. And new research continues to come out with hope for a more permanent treatment for ulcerative colitis and other inflammatory bowel diseases. A 2017 study found that the protein NLRP12 regulates inflammation in the body. Analysis found low levels of NLRP12 in twins with ulcerative colitis, but not in twins without the disease. When this NLRP12 was low, there were lower levels of friendly bacteria, as well as high levels of harmful bacteria and inflammation. Researchers believe they could add back more of the friendly bacteria in the people with inflammatory bowel disease with reduced NLRP12 expression to reduce the inflammation and restore healthy bacteria, ending the cycle and offering treatment to those with ulcerative colitis. So that means to me that if I drank colloidal silver water, that would help to put out the inflammation and would be the safest natural antibiotic. Then if I used other anti-inflammatories like boswellia and frankincense, curcumin, turmeric, these anti-inflammatories, and if I increased my probiotics and I went out and I got maybe even usually a really good one would be 10 different strains of bacteria and 50 billion strength. In this case, I would even go for 100 or 200 billion strength. And I would go on that high dose of natural friendly bacteria, probiotics, and the anti-inflammatories, and I would take those away from the colloidal silver water, because the colloidal silver water would diminish some of the friendly bacteria, but it's not going to be as bad as an antibiotic that wipes all of the friendly bacteria out, which is done too often, leaves the person without any friendly bacteria. Then they get all kinds of fungal infections, all kinds of stomach bacterial infections and so forth from the overgrowth of the unfriendly bacteria. I would also be looking at the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system, which gives you easy to digest yet super high nutrition. Because if a person has ulcerative colitis, they are not getting the nutrients that they're putting in. They got so much inflammation and pain and suffering going on, they're not getting nutrition. So dense, and I say it again, dense nutrition. Get on the Make Lifestyle Changes a diet system that's listed on the website herbalhealthreview.com. Let's go into this a little bit more. The symptoms of ulcerative colitis. The symptoms can vary depending on the severity and of the the severity of the inflammation and where it occurs. They typically develop over time. Most people experience mild to moderate symptoms, but the course of ulcerative colitis may vary, and some people have long periods of remission. The symptoms depend on the location of the disease causing inflammation. If you have ulcerative colitis, you may have the following signs and symptoms: diarrhea, often with blood or pus, abdominal pain and cramping, rectal pain and rectal bleeding, urgency to discharge stool, inability to discharge the stool, despite of the urgency, and weight loss, and fatigue or chronic fatigue syndrome, and fever, and failure to grow. In children, the child stops growing. Living with ulcerative colitis can lead to some serious health conditions and applications and complications. These occurrences include severe bleeding, a hole in the colon, severe dehydration, liver disease, bone loss, inflammation of the skin, the joints, and the eyes, sores in the lining of the mouth, an increased risk of colon cancer, a rapidly swelling colon, an increased risk of blood clots in veins and arteries. Let's back up here a little bit. Let's go back to the top. Severe bleeding, you want to know about herbs that stop hemorrhaging, like shepherd's purse, slows bleeding. So you might want to look at the herbs for hemorrhaging when you are to slow that bleeding down. If there's a hole in the colon, you want to know about herbs like slippery elm bark, which are soothing and healing, especially used by people who have cancer of the stomach. Slippery elm bark is very soothing and comforting. Severe dehydration, let's be sipping on water. And let's make sure a lot of that water is colloidal silver water, because it's going to help get rid of infection, bacteria, funguses, and even viruses that are attacking the tissues. Colloidal silver water, the safest, best natural anti-inflammatory antibiotic. It's wonderful. And you don't want to just stop with one thing. You want to use lots of remedies. You want to use that curcumin, that turmeric. You want to use herbs that are fight inflammation, like frankincense, also called boswellia. There's bone loss. So you're going to want to make sure that you know about the correct amount of hydrochloric acid, because it's going to interfere because ulcerative colitis is going to interfere with bone density, because you're not getting the nutrients, you're not getting the calcium. And besides that, the calcium, even in healthy people, the calcium's having trouble getting through the tissues all the way to the bones, the hair, the teeth, the fingernails. It's not getting where it's going. The calcium is not getting where it's going. Unless you know about HCl, betaine HCl. Betaine HCl is an amino acid. And that amino acid breaks down and becomes an enzyme that digests your food and reduces inflammation. So you want to know about HCl, because it's going to help when it's reducing that inflammation, and it's providing an enzyme, because it's converted to pepsinogen, and pepsinogen is converted to pepsin, the enzyme. And when that gets converted, then you are breaking down the food you're trying to eat and get the nourishment from. And everyone who wants to really break down and digest their food and get their calcium, then they want betaine HCl. It's listed in the Make Lifestyle Changes report, which is the most complete report for having a dense nutrient diet. I mean, that is a diet that gives you, it starts with all the supplements that build you up and make you strong, including the calcium and the magnesium, and including the betaine. It's all listed there. That's why it's such a great report. It's always got the right information for the right thing. And that is a Make Lifestyle Changes diet system that you'll find on the website herbalhealthreview.com under common conditions. And the Make Lifestyle Changes diet link is also on the side panel under miscellaneous. But that is the place that everyone should start, is the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system. and then modify it to where it's your system, that you're eating the foods you like, that you're taking the nutrients in that you want. You modify it. You might be adding a few things. You might be taking away a few things. But this inflammation of the skin, the joints, and the eyes, you've got to really get into anti-inflammatories. So let's go take a look at what we're talking about when we're talking about anti-inflammatories. Let's go take over here to an anti-inflammatory herbs over there on Better Health Herbs. Let's look at just by typing in the word. Typing in the word inflammation. Inflammation. We're on the website betterhealthherbs.com, and we typed in the word inflammation, and up comes an inflammation kit. And what else? Oh, there's an inflammation herbal formula by the name of inflammation. Let's see what it's got in it. Okay. What is in the inflammation formula is organic turmeric root, curcumin, and boswellia together, and ginger root. All of these are great for the digestion and inflammation. So let's get a big bottle of that and use it liberally. Okay, and let's get back to the ulcerative colitis. So the severe bleeding, we're going to use shepherd's purse. The hole in the colon, we're going to make sure you get some slippery elm bark. And severe hydration, we're going to make sure you make a point of putting water all over the place, so you're drinking water, and stop drinking water out of a plastic bottle. That's right. You're getting submicroscopic particles of plastic floating around in there, and we're drinking all this molecules of plastic, and nobody knows what the long-term effect is on people who are getting loaded up with little tiny molecules of plastic. They have no idea. Nobody's done a study on it. They'll wait till something breaks, then they come to fix it. Liver disease. So if there's liver disease, let's look at what you do about liver disease. There you go. You go back to the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system. Let's go. Let's just do that. Let's go see what we do about liver disease, because that's all part of ulcerative colitis. So now I'm going over here to H, Herbal Health Review, and going to common conditions. And when I'm in common conditions, I'm going to go over here. Matter of fact, I'm going to go over here to and click on Make Lifestyle Changes Diet System. So now I'm in the Make Lifestyle Changes Diet System, and here are all the nutrients. It tells you you need to drink water. It encourages you to drink water. And if you've got a kidney problem, or if you want the water to be a more alkaline, add a little bit of lemon, organic lemon juice from an organic lemon. Add that to your water. That will drive the water alkaline, and it will flush the kidneys out. And make sure and get water that has minerals in it. And if you're not getting enough minerals, find out one of the greatest ways that you can, and that is an herb called Irish moss. Irish moss. It's really a seaweed. The seaweed's got all the minerals in it, and that's a wonderful herb that's going to give you all the minerals from the sea, because we really need minerals, and that's a good source is Irish moss. So everybody should have a little bottle of Irish moss. Make sure they're getting their minerals, and making sure that they're getting this pure spring water with minerals. and adding a little bit of lemon to it. And that's just how complete it starts. I mean, this information is so complete. It starts with water, and so many people are dehydrated, and that's one of the problems with ulcerative colitis is dehydration. That's why I'm really making certain that we're getting enough water. Keep sipping water all day long. Water, green tea, let's keep it coming. And the next thing that's there on the list is B12 and folic acid. Now, B12 and folic acid will wake up the brain and will rejuvenate every cell in the body. So we're off to a running start here. We're getting rehydrated. We're rejuvenating every cell in the body. We're waking up the brain, because this ulcerative colitis will give you brain fog. And then the other thing, the third thing listed here is one of the most important things that anyone can find out about, because it is deficient in approximately 40% or more of the world population. Vitamin D, vitamin D3. And it tells you, and so here it is, a natural form of liquid vitamin D3. You can also get it in the capsules, but the capsules are made with gel, and some people don't want gel capsules. So here is vitamin D3 liquid, not in a gel capsule. And it's telling you how much to start, which is interesting, because it's telling you to take 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 for 15 days. Now, 15 days is not very long for vitamin D3. It will load up in your body and be too much if you did that for 6 months. For 6 months, then you might, or if you already had kidney stones, gallstones, then you want to be careful of the amount of vitamin D that you get, because vitamin D is going to increase your ability to absorb the calcium that people aren't getting. It's going to increase your ability to absorb it. So now you're increasing your ability to absorb calcium. And for people who form gallstones and kidney stones and all the stones, well, they have to be careful of that. So they're careful of the amount of D3 that they get, but they're certainly going to have their levels checked and make sure they're getting enough, because it's a super nutrient that just turns on all kinds of things in your body to protect you from just all kinds of things, including this one study that says it will stop the risk of cancer by 77%. I'll bet the Cancer Society, who really isn't really finding the cure for cancer. You think they want to know about that, don't you? The vitamin D3 does that, but they ignored these studies, and I don't understand that part. But anyway, except that it makes them more money to do the drugs. But vitamin D3, we're only going to do it for 50,000 IUs for 15 days. On the 16th day, drop back to 10. And then stay on it and get into a cycle of beginning of flu season. That's when you dose yourself for 2 weeks at the beginning of in October. You boost your immune system with 50,000 IUs for the first 2 weeks of October. You probably won't get the flu. And then after this, on the 16th day, you drop back and you're doing 10 drops. And you do 10 drops until you get into spring. In spring, your immune system takes a hit again, and that's when you hit your immune system with another 50,000 for just the first 2 weeks of April or March. March, April, May, in there, first, beginning of spring. And then after 2 weeks, at the beginning of the spring, of 50,000, you drop back to 10 drops. That's enormous for your immune system. It's going to keep you super healthy. It's going to help you to get over things you didn't think you could. Oh, there's pregnenolone listed there for people who could use a hormonal tune-up, or if they're stressed out. Because pregnenolone is a hormone that they give a military pilot so he can fly another mission. When he comes in and says, "I'm toast. I can't fly anymore. Can't even see the instrument panel anymore." They say, "Come here," and they giving him a minimum dose of 30 milligrams and a maximum dose of 700 milligrams. And within 10 minutes, he feels macho. He's not exhausted anymore. He's ready to fly another mission, and he's capable of doing it. Pregnenolone, for those who need it, for those who are stressed out, for those who have a deficiency of hormonal, they have a hormonal imbalance. Anyway, then there's fulvic acid. Fulvic acid, and this report goes on and on with all these super nutrients. And then we don't have time to go into all of them, but it goes on and on and on. The fulvic acid will help your stomach, is a specific nutrient for the stomach to rebuild the stomach. So that's why we had to get that far with this report. I mean, that alone is for fulvic acid is for ulcerative colitis. Yes, it is. So, and what do you want? You want about a teaspoon of it 2 or 3 times a day, and to help to rebuild the stomach. You want a good liquid multiple vitamin, because liquids go directly into the bloodstream and you get more for your money. If you're chewing on a capsule or swallowing a capsule, you're not getting all the nutrients. It's lost. A lot of it is lost in the digestive tract. But if you hold a liquid tincture and you put it in your mouth, and I need to come and turn down somebody's mic here. I got mics open all over the place over here. Okay, that's turned off. And Tony's turned off again. And then I'm looking over here. Do we have an open mic over here? I think we're okay. I don't see an open mic. Okay. But a good liquid multiple vitamin would be wonderful. And if your immune system has been compromised, which normally it is when you have ulcerative colitis, you need to boost your immune system again. And what nature does to boost the immune system in a baby is just before the breast milk fully comes in as breast milk, it's breast milk mixed with colostrum coming from mother's immune system. The colostrum is all of the immune factors to immunize the baby. And that's what the baby gets first thing when baby gets breast milk. Baby don't get breast milk, baby don't get colostrum. And they should. Because that puts them at risk for all kinds of health issues. But if you need your immune system to be boosted up, let's have some colostrum capsules, 1 or 2 capsules a day for a month, and your immune system should be tuned up. And if not, we'll leave you on colostrum until the immune system is fully functional. Then there's the nice bones, which is the calcium and the magnesium. And the hardest thing to find when you're out looking for magnesium is magnesium 400 milligrams citrate. It takes 2 or 3 capsules for most of these manufacturers to do that. And there's only one manufacturer I found that can make a good calcium and magnesium capsule that is multiply chelated, and that's what's called Nice Bones. It's got it. In other words, now you're going to chelation is a Greek word, means clawed onto. The calcium, it's clawed onto with citrates, citric acid, which makes it more bioavailable. Helps to break it down so you actually get the calcium. And if you already are, and if you're taking the betaine HCl, then that is breaking down the calcium so it'll get through the tissues. So yeah, so and then vitamin C. Go ahead.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was wondering, is there a rule of thumb when you're taking the food supplements? Like, do you take them like before a meal, like certain ones, or after a meal? And because I take a lot of supplements and I try to, balance everything out. Because sometimes if this one will interfere with that one or whatever. So is there like a rule of thumb when you're taking those? And also with the ulcerative colitis,
Yes.
I think the guy, he mentioned something about the one who brought up the topic, mentioned the topic, he mentioned candida. And can you eat like fruits, or should you just stay away? Because some people say don't eat fruit and just, do greens, everything. Or when you eat the fruit, should you just stay away from acidic fruits? And in what order should you eat your fruits when you start? Because some people say start with the acid, then go with the medium ones like grapes and apples, and then like to bananas, So just a couple questions. I just need to get all that in there right quick.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that input. All right. So we want to talk about you don't want to eat a lot of sugar or fruit with your proteins because then you're going to have a lot of gas. It's going to produce alcohol in your body, and you're going to have too much gas. So you really want to keep your fruits more. You can have you can have a certain amount of fruit, and you got to find out how your digestion. Everybody's digestion is different, so the answer isn't a plain simple answer for every single person, because every single person has a different rate of digestion. They have, and from time to time, that digestion it can change overnight. What your digestion good today can be bad tomorrow, overnight. So it's just finding out what foods work best for you. One of the rule of thumbs is, and that's in that Make Lifestyle Changes diet system, is that after you get all these nutrients, and some people find that they take them before a meal or with the meal, and some people can't take nutrients before a meal. It makes them nauseous. So they can't take their nutrients, the vitamins and supplements on an empty stomach. They have to have something on their stomach. But you don't want to have too much on your stomach. So all of this is common sense too. Finding out what is working for each person. Some people don't have a clue that there's a problem, so they're not even looking at trying to balance their fruits and their vegetables, and the fact that they shouldn't even be eating red meat unless it's an organ meat. If they're into meat, organ meats are good for you. Eating the flesh of an animal is very difficult to digest, but people love it. Now, so that gets us to the fact that the betaine HCl is going to help you to break down and digest things and help you with your digestion. But you know that you're not supposed to, you don't want to, for instance, eat a high protein meal along with a whole lot of fruit or fruit juice. You're going to have gas and a stomach ache and so forth. So we've got to get into common sense and taking that probiotic. Everybody should have a good probiotic capsule. A good quality one would be one that says 1050, 10 strains, at least 10 strains, and 50 billion strength, and one a day, unless they had ulcerative colitis, or if they had Candida albicans, yeast infections, they may need to take a stronger one, up to 200 billion for a short period of time until they win the war in their stomach of the friendly bacteria winning the war, because it's a constant war going on in there. So, and then there's digestive enzymes. There are some super digestive enzymes that are so great they will help you to lose weight. So if you don't want to use these particular enzymes that are listed in this Make Lifestyle Changes report, because they will cause you to lose weight. So but digestive enzymes, yes, eat plenty of them. Make sure you're breaking down and digesting and getting all of your food, and make sure that every bowel movement is so soft it breaks up in a cloud when you flush the toilet. If it isn't, you need more water, you need more fruit, you need more, and if you've got a problem with candida, you need less fruit, but you need herbs that are going to help you to clean out, like that number 4486 liver and cleansing kit that has two things in it. That number 4486 liver and colon cleansing kit with bentonite clay, that would be what you would need to get that colon cleaned out and repaired, so it can go back to work. And the good news about these things that I'm talking about is that they're not permanent. It's not something you're going to have to take the rest of your life. You take it until you take this number 4486 for 2 weeks. That's it. And if you need to do it again, you can do it again if the liver is really in trouble. And then you learn about herbs for the liver, because with ulcerative colitis, the liver is really having a tough time. So you want to learn about one of the greatest herbs that was ever made for the liver: milk thistle seed extract. Milk thistle seed extract will coat over the liver, protect it from toxins and poisons, and cause new liver cells to grow. That's pretty spectacular. Coats over, protects it from poison, and causes 60% new liver cells every 120 days. That's cool. So you find out about milk thistle seed, because now you can protect the liver. But let's clean it out. Let's clean it up, because you've got ulcerative colitis that's been bombarding the liver. The poor liver is been punished ever since the ulcerative colitis showed up. So number 4486 is a kit that has 2 bottles of number 1078, and the 1078 is a liquid that cleans up the bloodstream and the liver and the colon, and takes all the junk you want to get rid of and flushes it out of the colon. So you use enough of that 1078 to make sure every bowel movement is soft. If you have constipation and you cannot have a bowel movement, instead of the number 1078 CACT, you want to find out about this the CAC liquid that's 1078. There's an herbal tea that's called 1078 that gets rid of constipation, trains the bowel to go back to work again. And let's see what it is. CAC TEA. See if I can do this. CACT. CACT. It's in lots of different things, but that's not what I want. I want it as all by itself. Although CAC, you can get it in a program called Dry. If you in a kit, instead of the liquid, you can get it that kit, that kit, and it's still a cleansing program with bentonite clay. Time it's dry, and that's made. So there you go. There's the CACT. It's in this particular kit, and the CACT by itself is number 4110, number 4110. Okay, so now that's how you make sure you get a kit for the liver, whether it's a liquid if you don't have constipation, or a tea if you do have constipation. That's what you're looking for, and that's how you're going to clean up the liver and get it strong enough again so that the digestive system can become healthy, because the digestive system is never going to get healthy as long as the liver is suffering. Okay, so you got to clean up the liver, because the liver dumping everything into the colon, and if the colon's not working so swell with ulcerative colitis, it needs all of the help that it can get, and so that's how we work with that. But getting back to that Make Lifestyle Changes diet system, it's also talking about vitamin C, and so and a minimum amount of vitamin C that you should have every single day, just to keep a chimpanzee in a zoo alive. A chimpanzee has to have 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C a day. A human being, according to Linus Pauling, the father of vitamin C out there in Oregon, who lived to be about 98 years old, he took 5,000 milligrams 3 times a day. And that was the man who really opened up the information regarding vitamin C, Linus Pauling.
There you go. And that's 15,000 a day.
That's it.
I've been advised that for a normal weight body, just a small, 10,000 to 12,000. And if you can spread it out over the day, that works better.
Absolutely. It's called periodic dosing, and you want 5,000 3 times a day. You don't want 15,000 all in one dose.
And why do we need to take vitamin C into our body? Because humans do not manufacture vitamin C. Animals, a lot of them do. Humans don't. And what does vitamin C do to the body? It softens the cell wall so they can irrigate and respirate properly. The most important thing for trillions of cells in your body. And it changes to hydrogen peroxide in your body, which is what your immune system puts out. Which is incredible. I mean, that is massive.
Yes. Vitamin C is very, very important and very misunderstood by a lot of people. So vitamin C, very, very important. If you really want some tissue rebuilding, if you were a football player and you right after, before the game, after the game, you're going to take 15,000 of vitamin C because you're going to know about it, and you're going to know that it's a tissue rebuilder, and it's going to help to take away all the aches and the pains from running up and down and getting beat up on that football field. You're going to need that 15,000 vitamin C. And I don't know a football player that doesn't take 15,000. If he doesn't, he'll learn pretty quick, or he'll be bruised up and miserable until he learns it.
You can take up to 200,000. However, even at 50,000, it might turn your bowels to liquid. When it does, that means you can come down lower till it stops doing that. And that way you know that you've affected your body in a fantastic way.
Yes. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention one other thing called MSM.
Oh, yeah.
MSM stands for methyl sulfonyl methane, which means it's sulfur, natural sulfur. And the secret to MSM is just like so many things. It is so underdosed. To really get the benefit from MSM, which what MSM does is it makes every cell stay young and wet and permeable. Your cell is on its way to becoming less wet, finally dry up, wrinkle up, and die. But the MSM powder that you're taking 3 times a day, one teaspoon with each meal, the first week, 2 teaspoons with each meal the second week, 3 teaspoons with each meal the third week. That is a perfect dosage for keeping every cell in your body younger, longer, more wet, more permeable, letting the toxins out, letting the nutrients in. That's MSM. That's how to use it, and that's listed there. And that gets rid of inflammation. People with arthritis say that they have less inflammation, and they love MSM. So just know that those are some of the things.
I use it with my vitamin C. Both of them assist each other.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that just and that's just the beginning part of the Make Lifestyle Changes diet system, and that's why it's going to be specifically helpful for ulcerative colitis or Candida albicans. And then it goes on to say eat a modest amount of fruit. You can have a power drink with some fruit in it. You don't want your fiber powder in your fruit drink, because that fiber powder is going to absorb your vitamins and a lot of your nutrients. So you want to make sure, if you're going to take a fiber powder, and you should, take it 2 hours before dinner on an empty stomach. But here in the early day, whenever you can, after you've had all your super nutrients, and one of the best things you can rehydrate with, coconut milk, coconut water. And I found one that has coconut milk, the coconut meat, the coconut milk, and the coconut gel. Three things: gel, meat, and water, all together. And there's only one of them that does that. And on the label it says pressed. And they ought to, and that's it. And it tastes delicious, but it rehydrates better than water. You see, your water doesn't have the potassium and the electrolytes in it that the coconut water does. Coconut water will rehydrate you better. So let's get some coconut water in there and try the pressed one. It works good. But here, after it gives all of the nutrients, all of the super supplements that you can take to build yourself up, make yourself strong, then it's talking about fruit like a banana, mango, cantaloupe, melons, berries. Those are great fruits. Uh, and so you eat you're going to use a modest amount of fruit in your power drink, and then you can make your own almond milk, and you can make you just put some of that coconut, pressed coconut water in there, and you make your power drink, and you can make it with some cinnamon.
But it talks about the cereal there, and you didn't mention that.
What's that?
Just before, in that same paragraph you just scrolled up, it says cereal.
Yes.
I wanted you to. Does that
and
mean
it is? This is your cereal drink.
Okay.
It's a cereal drink. So now you've got your cereal, and you've turned it into a cinnamon, and if you like chocolate, pure cacao, and vanilla. Now it tastes like cinnamon.
But you're not using cereal carbohydrates, all that cereal stuff.
Nope. Instead, what you're putting in there is organic. Flax seeds, sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds. Then you're putting in powders. You're putting in powders of milk thistle seed, maca root, and I got an open mic.
Hyssop, spirulina, Corella, ashwagandha. I put it all in there. Everything you talk about and much more. And I make my smoothies like that. I keep my bags open, scoop them out, and throw it all in the blender.
There you go.
With the berries and all kinds. You know what I add to my smoothies? Brussels sprouts, string beans, and cabbage. Organic, because that fixes that diabetes in 30 days if you stay away from all the carbs and do what Dr. Truman's teaching you. Plus, you just need to know which vegetables are going to be the right ones to help you, which is cruciferous mostly, and they should be organic, because genetically modified. Go ahead.
Okay. And in this power drink, we've got all these seeds that we're putting in the into the power drink, and in with our coconut milk, and the chocolate and the vanilla and the cinnamon. We're putting in some milk thistle seed powder for a brand new liver. We're putting some maca root powder in there for stamina and endurance. We're putting some organic raw pea protein powder in there to get some quality organic protein. Then we're putting that super green foods with the chlorella, spirulina, barley grass, wheatgrass, alfalfa powder, olive leaf extract, seaweed in it. It's perfect. It's the perfect super green food powder with everything. And now you got all your powders in there. You got all your seeds in your power drink, and you're adding, whatever amount of fruit you want, remembering that the core of the pineapple is called bromelain, and it's the bromelain that digests and breaks down anything, including meat. Pineapple is one of the things, if you're going to go out and eat meat, you should have pineapple and plenty of the core of the pineapple, because that's where the bromelain is. But anyway, so now you got your power drink, and you got it tasting just right. You've got just the right amount of mango, pineapple, cherries, blueberries, cranberries, organic fruit in there. And it's just balanced out to where you like it, and it works good for you. And you got your favorite fruits and everything. Now you whir that power drink up and drink that down. And that's what I had today. And it's the only thing I've had all day.
Blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries I have also. I put in, including what you were talking about, and all the seeds.
There you go. So then
I live on it.
Right. So then the rest of the story. So now you've got a power drink with all this super green foods and super herbs in there for the liver and everything. This is perfect for ulcerative colitis. So now you go down into the make lifestyle changes, and the next thing that it says is here is a whole food, plant-based diet meal plans. So you look at the meal plans and you say, I don't like this meal plan, but I do like that meal plan. So I'm going to pick the meal plans I like. Okay. Then you go down and you look at, oh, here's some whole food plant-based recipes. So now you got the whole food plant-based meal plans and recipes, and you're choosing the ones you like. Then the crowning touch is when you look at the acid alkaline food chart and you pick the foods you like have to be 70% alkaline and 30% acid. Or you might, if you're very healthy, you might be able to go 40% acid and 60% alkaline. And if you have cancer, it must be 30% alkaline and 70%, excuse me, 70% alkaline and 30%.
And that's at a bare minimum, actually. Really, I remember Dr. Freebot teaching me you can eat 70% good and maybe 30% wrong. So he explained it differently, and I understood his point. But to be in a better state of pristine health and live very far in very good health, so you have a good life, while you're alive, you want to be in good health. You want to leave, but that doesn't mean you have to be in disease when you leave.
Correct. So that's it. So that's the acid alkaline food chart that balances everything out. So now you have this very dense diet. It's particularly nourishing. It's focused on the liver, which really needs help when there's ulcerative colitis. And then you've got this number 4486 cleansing program, dry. It's number 4488 if you have constipation, but 4486 if you don't have constipation. Now you have something to tune up the liver, clean it up, clean it out, and start over again. Then you want to know about herbs that are specifically for ulcers. Yes, because there are herbs that are specific for ulcers. And it's number 1396. Let's take a look at number 1396. This is a ulcer formulation, and it's called stomach ulcers. And the herbs in the stomach ulcers formulation are cranesbill root, marshmallow root, golden seal root, and echinacea root, and poke root. That is a natural antibiotic that will get rid of infection, and it's focused with herbs that are specifically used for ulcers. So that is a great ulcer herbal tincture extract formulation. That's it for ulcerative colitis. It also touched on eating before, having fruit before. Now, these things we have to find out individually, because some people can eat, take supplements before a meal. Some people have to take supplements with the meal. Some people have to take supplements after a meal. You need to find out what works best for your body. And that's where we have to go with that. So because everybody is as unique as your thumbprint. That's how different you are. Everybody's got a different thumbprint. So that's it. That's that part. Did we have anybody who has a question, a topic, or a suggestion as we continue? I don't see a question, topic, or suggestion. So I'm getting out of this report, getting over here, closing out of that, closing the windows, and coming over here and looking at some of the latest information. One of the most shocking things that I read today, and I knew this before, but it reminded me, I don't know if anybody in this room knows what the most deaths on the planet, what are the most deaths from? Is it
improper applications in never mind.
Yeah, I guess
that
what?
is the leading cause of death, is the wrong applications or improper use of applications.
Yeah, here is the leading cause of death. 40% of all deaths in the world are from killing babies and aborting them.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God.
40% of all deaths. More deaths from killing babies than any other thing, any other cause in the world. An estimated 64 million unborn babies have been killed. 64 million unborn babies have been killed in abortions in the U.S. since 1973.
That's just in the U.S.
Just in the U.S. That's right. But anyway, I thought that was a terrible thing to read, that 40% of every death around the world. That was shocking to me.
Holy mackerel.
That should not be. All I can say is that should not be. We all know that should not be.
But it
and
is.
Did you know that Walmart and CVS
Oh, I know.
now have the abortion pill? It's legal for them to have abortion pill, but it's not. Here we pass a law that murders babies for decades and decades, and then we pass the law that they're supposed to stop. They don't stop. It's okay to do it, and they got the law. They got the law. It's okay to do it. As soon as there's not a law, it's okay to do it anyway.
It's even worse than that. If people that are praying outside of the company that does them all are getting arrested just for praying outside, not even outside the place, away from the place as they were instructed that they're allowed to. It doesn't matter. They put them on this terrorist watch list.
Yeah, but we don't want to get too deep into those kinds of things, because
certainly.
So let's change the subject before we get in trouble here. Let's change the subject, and let's talk at the late. I'm looking at the latest news. As of January 4, 2023, what the pesticide industry doesn't want you to know. What is it that they don't want you to know? According to an article from Alliance for Natural Health, an article by Stacy Malkin, Kendra Klein, and Anna Lappe, in the wake of this year's Global Climate Summit, advocates are raising the alarm about how industry continues to distort climate policy with public relations spin. So they're distorting it. Indeed, it says one of the most critical challenges of our times is the need to confront corporate disinformation. While the stakes of big oil's climate denialism and greenwashing are ever clearer. As wildfires tear through communities, entire nations are threatened by rising sea levels.
Oh,
And
please.
farmlands are ravaged by extreme weather. A more stealthy set of devastating impacts hides behind the lies fabricated by big pesticide corporations
They're the ones that are lying about all this.
like big oil. Pesticide companies spend hundreds of millions every year on deceitful public relations strategies to keep their hazardous products on the market. And it's working wonderfully for them, but it's killing and harming people. Even as evidence mounts that many pesticides still used today are tied to certain cancers, damage to children's developing brains, biodiversity collapse, and more.
Oh, Dr. Truman, when I saw that commercial years ago, and it was a 31-second commercial on mainstream news, and it said mercury can be good for developing brains in infants. I'm telling you the truth. I actually saw this and told people about it years ago.
Mhm.
These people told that on the mainstream news.
Yeah. Yes, there's a lot of that kind
Mercury.
of thing going around. Mercury, yeah. A new report, Merchants of Poison, documents a case study of just such pesticide industry disinformation, revealing a PR playbook similar in strategy. Institutions and at times the very individual players as that of the fossil fuel industry, as nearly all agricultural chemicals are derived from fossil fuels. This interconnection should come as no surprise. But just, I don't want to get too far into these things, because at some point you're stepping on somebody like the pesticide industry with
Oh,
huge
you wouldn't
money,
want to. You don't want to do
and
that,
they'll get us banned or something like that. So
right? But
not
I
go
do
any
have.
further.
I do have a client for a couple of years now. I met him in Williams Supermarket, and he was dying. I could tell he wasn't in good shape when I walked up to him, and he told me he was dying from glyphosate poisoning from spraying as a farmer, spraying a lot of it. Okay, and everything was turning to liquid that he ate. Well, the only thing I helped him do was take the Magozone, and you can talk to him now. I'll put him on the phone with you, not right this minute, but everything's changed, and I'm almost finished fixing him with something that's going to take all that out of his body, break down the hardest to oxidize particulates in the body. That's what needs to be done when they're to finish him off and really make people healthy.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about something here. I have to tiptoe through this one. Another article, and this one dated January 4, 2023. Yesterday, Alliance for Natural Health came out with an article. Deadly new killer makes COVID look like a teddy bear. What? So dare I mention a few words on that, and before I run away from it. But Dr. Joseph Mercola, doctor of osteopathy, he tells us to forget COVID. He says excess deaths have now taken off to a far greater degree than at the height of the pandemic, especially for this age group, where deaths soared by 40% in the third quarter of 2021. In August 2022, provisional life expectancy estimates for 2021 were released, showing Americans had lost nearly 3 years of life expectancy during 2020 and 2021. In December 2022, the finalized mortality report confirmed these shocking data. In 2019, the average lifespan of the American of all ethnicities was 78.8 years. By the end of 2020, it had dropped from 78.8 to 77. 77 years. And by the end of 2021, it was dropped again to 76.4. That is now the lifespan. We lost 2.4 years in 2 years. And this is detailed in the U.S. Centers of Disease Control and Prevention's finalized mortality report for 2021. In 2021, life expectancy at birth was 76.4 years for the total U.S. population, a decrease of 0.6 years from 77.0 years in 2020. For males, life expectancy decreased 0.7% year from 74.2 in 2020 to 73.5 in 2021. That was for males. Went from, it lost 0.7% in 2020, from 74.2 to 73.5. And for females, life expectancy decreased 6% per year, 0.6 per year, from 79.9 in 2020. All of a sudden, now it's 79.3. 79.9, now it's 79.3 in 2021. From 2020 to 2021, death rates increased for each age group 1 year and over. A Virginia Commonwealth University professor, population health, Dr. Stephen Wolf, told USA Today, that means all the medical advances over the past quarter century have been erased. I'm going to say that again. Virginia Commonwealth University professor of population health, Dr. Stephen Wolf, told USA Today that means all the medical advances over the past quarter century have been erased. Let's move on and learn something else. What about weight loss? Get on the weight loss cycle. Get on the, let's find out a little bit more about weight loss cycle, okay? The weight loss cycle. Okay, intermittent fasting. Well, it's about time, intermittent fasting. Is this popular health trend right for you, intermittent fasting? Most of us consider making healthier lifestyle changes at the beginning of the year. And variations on weight loss and better eating are always popular. One concept receiving attention in recent years suggests when you eat is as important as what you eat. Intermittent fasting, a modern variation on an ancient way of life, can be a game changer for many, but a bad choice for others. So there's an article, and it goes into intermittent fasting and how it works. How intermittent fasting, sometimes called cyclic fasting, describes an eating schedule that includes avoiding food for short periods in order to improve your overall health. While variations exist, all limit eating during specific time periods. They all limit eating during specific time periods. So your body can heal and recover. Is it something you should try in the new year? Oh, this approach to eating has many well-documented upsides, such as helping with weight loss, disease prevention, and better hormone regulation. People who have tried it say it's easier to stick to than counting calories or restricting certain foods. Intermittent fasting isn't right for everyone. And talking with your doctor before making any major lifestyle change is always smart. But the body of research shows it's generally safe and effective when combined with healthful, sensible food choices. It also may be more closely suited to how our bodies were designed to work. We've all grown up eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but that wasn't how our earliest ancestors lived. If a hunt or forage was unsuccessful, they might not eat at all that day. Our modern world has food available on demand from our kitchen pantry
Hello.
24/7, and the supermarkets.
Evening, Lisa.
And
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello,
Pretty good.
hello. I've got Paul talking on one computer, and I got Barbara on the other computer. I'm going to go to Barbara. Barbara, how are you?
I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm alive.
Okay.
Glory to God.
All praises to the Most High.
I want to hear this testimony.
Yes.
I want to share this. Barbara works with doctors and scientists. There's good doctors out there, and there's good scientists out there. First thing that we need to know is our body mass. Our body mass are different. The bone structure are different. I am a petite woman. It's different. You got petite, you got the middle, and you got big bone structure. That is the most important thing. And the doctors that I work with talk about herbs. Eating healthy. So Herbal Health Review, Dr. Truman, Paul, Brother Edward, there's good doctors. I work with them. I work with the scientists. I work with the nurses. They believe in herbs. So everybody needs to talk to their doctor. And when I go to my doctor's appointment, I take my file with me. They don't need to go into the computer. I sit it right on the bed, and I sit in the chair and ask them what you want to know about me. It is important to have a copy of all x-ray, all things, and take your file with you, because now the doctors are the file clerks. I just needed to share that because I've been working with doctors in them for many years. And they believe in herbs.
There you go. And that's good. That's good advice. Take your file with you so that you have everything right there.
To understand this, because you know yourself better than the doctor know you.
Okay.
So every test, every X-ray you get, you need to file it and take it with you. Because doctors don't have time for all that. They don't go back into your file. Hey, I file with you. He asked me, have I been depressed in the last 6 months? In the last 6 months, I've been depressed all my life. When the last time you looked on TV? Tell the truth. No, I'm not going to see your specialist friend. So they don't bother me. So when I go to my doctor's appointment, the new physician, he bring them in to learn Barbara.
Okay. All right. Let's.
About herbs.
Okay.
You
So
need to understand this, Dr. Truman, Brother Paul, and Brother Edward. There are good doctors, there's good scientists, there's good nurses out there. And everyone out on this conference needs to take control of your own body. It ain't about that Ruby Wade stuff. It's about living healthy.
okay, I want to thank you for that information because it's great information. And folks, you know, you want to remember, take your file with you. Keep a file so you and keep it on hand. Now, where I left off was talking about how we grew up.
Wait a minute. I deal with diabetics. I deal with all illness. The doctor didn't have diabetes, but by me being their backup and overseeing it, by me eating herbs and everything, he learned a lot of things. So he thanked me. I said, I'll thank the doctor, and the doctor will take it back to God. Now, the people need to hear this.
Okay, thank you.
It's how it works.
Okay.
He wanted to thank everybody because his brother is living pretty well with diabetes. The earth.
Okay. Okay.
You have to put this out on conference for the people to download and get understanding to unlock God's mystery.
And
How
that's
it works.
yes, and that's exactly what we're doing here. And we're explaining this diet system. And where we left off explaining this diet system is that when we all grew up eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But that wasn't how our ancestors lived. If they were hunting or foraging and if they were unsuccessful, they might not eat that day. Our modern world has food available on demand 24/7, supermarkets, DoorDash deliveries, and these conveniences also include a lot of carb-heavy, processed food full of sodium, high calorie, refined grains, loaded with all kinds of chemicals and junk and who knows what else, and sugars.
Corn syrup is
And a diet like this takes a toll on us. See, that's a diet that most people are into. They're in a hurry.
Tell them what's in natural flavorings. The one that's called in all the foods that have natural flavorings. That's where they're putting 1,000 chemicals into it, including what is that stuff they put into Chinese food that everybody didn't want? Huh? MSG.
Monosodium glutamate.
It's no longer on the labels. You notice that? Go take a look. Yeah, it's now in 1,000. There's up to 1,000 or more chemicals in natural flavorings when it says it on the label. Imagine that they hide it under natural flavorings.
Yeah,
and it's a brain inflammatory, one of the worst.
Yes, MSG is horrible, and it used to be just in Chinese food, and then pretty soon the Chinese people got smart, and you saw signs in their windows, no MSG in our food.
Right.
Yeah, because
but now they're hiding it in all the store products.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing that's killing everybody is all the preservatives, sodium benzoate that's in your soda,
Preservatives,
because it kills all your good bacteria. and you're living without the right things, but people don't know that.
Yeah.
If it has preservatives in there, it kills all your good gut bacteria.
There you go. And that can change overnight.
I know.
It can change right away. So to finish up here, immediately after we eat, our body's going to a fed state, and it processes what we've consumed. Then we store energy, usually as fat, and insulin and blood sugar levels rise, overpowering our other hormones. Only after a few hours do we move from a fed state into a fasting state, when our system burns that stored energy. With regular meals and constant snacking, we don't stay in a fasting state for long, if at all. And that extra energy, again, largely fat, hangs around. Sustained food breaks of 12 hours or more can give our bodies the rest that they need to start back into the fed state again. Anyway, skipping food for 12 consecutive hours or more may sound tough, but you can pass a lot of that time while you sleep at night. Sleeping hours mark the longest daily fast for most of us, and breaking that fast is how the morning meal got its name. Break fast. If you finish dinner before 7 p.m., get a reasonable night's sleep, and then don't eat again until 7 the next morning, that's already a 12-hour fast. Earlier dinners and later breakfasts, or skipping breakfast altogether, further stretches this fasting window. It's a fasting window. It's a good idea to avoid eating after dinner anyway, as late evening snacks not only tend to be empty calories, but we also burn them slower. Intermittent fasters say compressing your eating schedule isn't as hard as it sounds, and it becomes easier the more you do it. A benefit of this adjustment is that your body produces less ghrelin, Ghrelin, ghrelin. That's the hormone that makes you feel hungry. And your body is, when you're doing this, your body is going to, produces less ghrelin. On a fasting plan, the meals you do eat should include the essential nutrients. That's why sensible food choices and hydration are key to this approach. Your body processes vegetables, whole grains, clean proteins, and other good for you foods, along with the occasional treat, more efficiently than a steady intake of pizza and burgers and ice cream. If you're not currently a healthy eater, experts recommend improving your diet before you try fasting. Otherwise, you may be more tempted to finish a fast with a junk food binge.
Not good. Very bad.
Yeah. A lot of people they've been fasting and fasting and fasting. Then they say, I'm gonna reward myself.
Oh no!
Yeah, they go on a junk food binge because they've been fasting. They owe it to themselves, Anyway,
You know,
people think funny things sometimes.
I was thinking about something a little earlier after Barbara spoke. Take charge of your health, or your health will take charge of you and roll right over you. You must educate yourself. Everyone must educate themselves. It is our responsibility to ourselves more than anything.
This call may be recorded or transcribed.
I'm gonna let you go wait.
Okay, we lost our connection on dial pad, and we're back with dial pad. So please understand we lost you there for a moment, but we are back. Okay, we're almost wrapping this up because we're coming to, near the top of the hour here. So let's wrap it up here with this intermittent fasting, which can be valuable for people who use it properly.
I live like that most of the time, and when I don't, I'll pay the consequences.
Yes.
You eat between 4, 6, or 8 hours, depending on what you do. The smaller time frame would be the perfect way, and you keep yourself hydrated with fluids all day long, properly with the right nutrients, etc., etc.
Okay, all right. Let me finish then. Varieties of intermittent fasting, and an open mic over here in Atlanta. Dial pad just has a problem keeping their mics muted. But anyway, we've got to wrap this up. We've only got a few minutes left. Let's finish it with some information regarding varieties of intermittent fasting. The most fasting regimens fall into one of 3 categories. The biggest differences being the lengths and the frequencies of the fasting period. These 3 are the main categories. Time restricted feeding limits your eating to 8 to 12 hour window. It limits your eating to an 8 to 12 hour window. And then you fast the rest of the time. A 12-hour eating window, as in the example above, can be a good approach for first timers. If they do well, they can try to stretch the fasting to 16 hours. That's time restricted feeding. Then there's alternate day fasting. Alternate day fasting involves 1 day of normal, healthy eating, followed by 1 day taking in less than a fourth of your usual calories. A 2,000 calorie eater would then cut down to 500 or less calories every other day. This is the most studied type of intermittent fasting, but it's also more difficult to maintain over the long term. It's called alternate day fasting. Finally, there is the third one, the intermittent fasting variety, which is a 5 to 2 fasting, which is a variation of alternate day fasting where you eat normally for 5 days each week and cut way back on the remaining 24-hour periods, as long as they are not consecutive days. So that's it. Potential health benefits. Well, they are so. What are the upsides of skipping these meals? Extensive research shows many positive effects can come from combining sensible eating and intermittent fasting. And weight loss, if you want to lose weight and belly fat, intermittent fasting has a track record of success for losing weight and belly fat. Reviews of studies find fasters can lose as much as 10% of their body weight, even those who didn't start out obese. Fasting also helps our body release human growth hormone
Wow.
and norepinephrine, which burns fat quicker than preserving muscle. That's why intermittent fasting may be a good strategy for athletes in non-endurance sports. Finally, brain health. Brain health, resting our bodies during fasts also appears to benefit our brain. Lab rodents fed intermittently had better motor coordination and learning response, with less of the oxidative stress associated with normal age related brain changes. The brain benefited. Other studies found that fasters improved their verbal memories, short-term memories, and high-level executive function and overall cognitive function. Intermittent eating schedules can also reduce neuroinflammation, a factor in Alzheimer's disease and depression. So it can help with brain health and heart health. It can with heart health. Intermittent fasting can also promote a healthy heart by lowering cholesterol and triglycerides. Researchers found an overall 20% of cholesterol reduction among intermittent fasters they studied, with much of it coming from the LDL, so-called bad cholesterol. Fasting also lowers other heart disease risk factors and increases levels of adiponectin, helpful in preventing cardiovascular disease and heart attack. Finally, there's a lot more here, but we're running out of time. We need to finish this another time. We'll talk about insulin resistance, reducing inflammation, cell resilience, cell resilience, and additional benefits.
I just need to say this last thing.
Yes.
Dr. Truman,
Yes.
I need to say this last thing. One thing I know, and two for sure, about you, about Brother Edward. A lot of people don't know how to share their pain. Pain brings change. And we don't like to feel the pain. And as you say, Jesus Christ showed us how to feel the pain. Pain brings change, testimony. That's what that book is about.
All praises to the Most
I
High.
have one last question about shipping, Dr. Truman, about the products. How long does it take to get to the house?
When you place an order online, they tell me that they will ship that order within 5 days. If you really need that order in a hurry, you let them know and you say, okay, I will give you $25 to take my order and put it in the front of the line. And that's for people who are really got to have that product because it's helping them and they need it, need these natural remedies, then that's for them. So just know that their goal is to have it shipped within 5 working days. But that means if you that means if you order it on a Thursday today, then it's gonna count Thursday, Friday, but it's not counting Saturday and Sunday because those aren't work days. So it's counting only Monday through Friday. So it has to be 5 work days. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Truman.
All right. All praise it to the Most High. And Ed, we've come to the top of the hour.
Excuse me, Barbara.
That brother talked about how he can get here. Pain brings change. We the people don't like change. You got to get the pain to change. And this is what you out here about.
Barbara, call me. This is Edward. Call me when you get a chance.
I'm still studying Midnight Clay and download it because I'm a talk to talk and walk to walk.
I have the most amazing files on the subject.
And can we
Testimony
talk about
from
this after the prayer and
We'll
after
get
the
together.
show?
Okay, we have come to the top of the hour, folks. We just don't have any more time. So we are out of here. But before we're out of here, we can't get out of here until we praise the Most High together. And so we're going to do that right now. We are going to come together, all of the brothers and the sisters here. We are here in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior, Yeshua, our Savior. We praise and worship and thank the Most High God, and we receive His complete, continuous, endless, and limitless blessing. We receive it for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in Jesus Christ's name. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you as we receive your complete, continuous, endless, and limitless blessing for the glory and for the victory of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit in Jesus Christ's name. So be it. Amen. Open up the microphones. All praises to the Most High, brothers and sisters. All praises to the Most High.
Well, praises to the Most High.
Praise to the Most High. All praises. I'm gonna keep it moving. I gotta keep it moving.
This program is presented for information purposes only. The statements made herein have not been evaluated by any agency and should not be considered professional, legal, or medical advice. Viewers are directed to consult their own professional sources before acting on any information presented here.